hear your voice down there.
You want me to come in?
You want us to get closer?
I don't mind.
You may move behind you guys.
Oh, we can get closer. You want us to?
That'd be great.
Yeah.
You may switch places with you guys, will you be closer in?
No.
Oh. Well, get out there.
We'll just put this L right up under our nose.
There's a lot of people.
Yeah, and then we'll see if you got nostril hairs.
Nostril hairs.
Roll over.
No, it's fine. You hadn't said anything before, and I was like, does my voice sound funny today or something? I've been coughing a lot, so I think it's fine.
Oh, man.
Was it Lori?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
She's not a voting member, so it was, whenever we were trying to.
only time she had the voters.
Yeah.
But it was out here.
She usually,
So the status quorum would have to be commissioners. Just y'all are the only voting.
Gotcha.
4, 5, check.
I'm sitting this close to that. I don't even know how boogers on my nose or anything.
You turn this on? Yeah, I started, okay. It's about 1 minute till they stop it out.
Well, good. I'm glad it just caught me checking my phone.
Oh, it's running.
Yeah, you definitely caught me checking boogers on my nose and everything. No, I'm just. Oh, well. Welcome to the people. Welcome to. Sorry, you're trying to pray and I'm talking about boogers.
No. Okay, so, good evening. This is the Opioid Abatement Committee. We're in room 1112 at the county building at Sumner County. To the meeting. I would like an invocation. Can I have someone give the invocation?
Let's bow our heads. Father, we thank you for this beautiful day that you've given us, Lord. Help us not be too busy to enjoy the beauty that's around us. Here, bless our time together as we continue to work to implement the plan to move this project forward. Pray that you continue to bless our county, Father, bless our world events, our nation, just keep us safe, give us your peace, forgive us where we fail you, Father, in Jesus' name, amen.
I asked to put the Pledge of Allegiance on there because I'm, one of those old school people who have a flag, so I think
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like approval of the agenda. Do I hear a motion?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Recognition of the public. Is there anyone here that would like to be recognized? Okay, we'll close recognition of the public. Report of the chairman. I don't have anything to report other than what we're going to be doing tonight because we're kind of in a flux. So right now I have no report from our group. So we'll move to old business. And I'd like to make a motion, I don't know if I can do that, but I'd like to make a motion to discuss this in sequence instead of a motion for each one. Can I do that?
Yeah. We want to group and approve? Or group and discuss?
Group and discuss, yeah.
Second.
At the end, you mean? Or,
No, just do it.
I understand. Just talk about them all the same.
General discussion.
Gotcha.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great. So our first discussion is submission process and website. I have our IT director to be here tonight to show you what he has done to the website so far, kind of give us an update.
Right now, the only thing that we've changed since I came here is, we did make the distinction between doing the SELB group email to actually assign it to an administrator, whoever you guys are gonna because y'all, and of course, like we discussed, when you go to the website, first thing you do is your eyes go right, and make sure it's listed here as well. That's the first thing that they're gonna see. We did put the group email over here for you guys. It was discussed possibly listing you each out soon, but you know, it's totally up to you. But if anybody's gonna send you an email, you're gonna share it anyway, so I'm kind of saying you should leave it as a group, kind of like when you email the county commissioners, everyone gets it. That way you're not responsible for sending it to all the other 6 or 7 members of the board. And
does that include the administrator too?
absolutely, yes. That person will be part of that as well. It is my understanding, and Eric, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Steve is reviewing our forms.
Yes.
Do we outside? Yeah. As soon as he gets back with us and gives us that approval, we'll be ready to go live whenever you guys give us the green light on that.
Okay.
And if there's any changes you want to make, like I said, this is still a work in progress. So anything can be changed to your pleasing, as long as it meets certain guidelines that legal don't have a problem. So make that kind of.
So Robert, there'll be when they click here,
Which part?
at the very bottom. Oh, okay, it goes over there.
Yeah.
There'll be a link there for the application that's online.
Yes, sir, this is the application right here.
Right, okay.
And when you click that link, it takes you to the forms.
Perfect.
And they're all here, and that's what Mr. Steve in the office is going over.
Okay.
Everything's there. If you click on learn more about the council, it's going to take you to the state site. Yes.
Perfect.
And if you click here for the approved recommendation link, it's going to take you to the state approval list. It's all listed there for you to review and for anyone who's trying to apply for this. And the link that you guys have in your email, at any time while you have it, it's live for you to view, but the public cannot see it. So anytime you want to click on that and review it, make notes if there's changes you want to make, bring them to the meeting, we'll be happy to look at it, see if we can do it.
Sounds wonderful.
Yes, ma'am.
You did a great job, thank you.
Well, it was just me, it was our web guy too.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, we can.
absolutely. I'll leave that up if y'all want to look at it after the meeting.
All right, thank you.
Got anything to say?
Thanks, Robert. Appreciate it.
Well,
We have a discussion of CTAS. Anybody have any questions about the website or anything like that? I think it looks great. Me, now, I'm a web person because I taught school professor and I critique people on there, so I would have a little bit more feel. There are little icons in there, but I don't want to muck it up a little bit. So it looks really good. So on the CTAS documentation, that's what he's talking about as far as the forms. I think that we have to wait on approval. So that's been on old business because until we get that approved, then we can't really do anything else. And I really would like to have a coordinator in place too as we start rolling on this.
Yeah.
I don't know how y'all feel about, how you guys feel about it.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think that's
That way the coordinator's on the ground and goes
priority
out.
one,
Yeah,
to get that,
without that person, it's kind of,
yeah.
all the balls are in the air.
Do you want to drop CTAS documentation from old business?
Yes.
Okay.
The Health Survey and Goals Coalition, we had that last time, and again, that's part of the Survey and Goals Coalition that we'll work with the coordinator on. The coalition has goals as well. I have it in my book. I don't know if y'all looked at what we had, but theirs are similar, and they were here last time to talk about that. And, I'll ask them to come back.
Who's here today? Who's your rep here today?
Oh, sorry, Duff. You're not invisible. So in respect to that, I think that's the same, pretty much thing that they, the opioid abatement program is recognizing. Am I correct? Yes, ma'am. Okay, so your goals are essentially the same as the opioid abatement.
Yes, so we cover multiple substances, the opioids are one of the substances we covered in primary prevention with opioids.
And that is I have a question about that too as If, you know, in the guidelines, it talks about like naloxone and all that. And there are things that cause you to become opioid addicted, and it's, you know, different aspects of mental.
They've really opened up. This is a weird situation. From what I've interpreted on what I read is, I'm sorry, I should have asked if I could speak. They're trying to give the money away, and they're having to open up people that are eligible to receive it. So the easier way for me to be fact-based in our question.
So that was something I wanted to ask about, because myself, I deal with people, you know, in my practice, I deal with people that are opioid addicted or opioid naive, or they have addiction issues. And so I don't look at it as something we need to reach out to CCAS and see if it would fill in that bucket. Statistic on opioid deaths, we had that from the sheriff's office last time, and he's not here today. That too has to come in line with the coordinator and the health survey. How is this opioid death issue? You know, in the community, and maybe sometimes we're not aware, but it is it's something that we're probably going to be looking at when we do our disbursement on who has the biggest problem with opioid death. How do you all feel about that?
I think you're right on track, but again, I think a lot of this is going to be for the coordinator to actually get in and crunch the data and roll back to us of thoughts of where the allocations of money can go. Honestly, I think that the sheriff's department is hands-on with EMS and sees it first, probably more so than anybody else. Even if somebody's intoxicated and brought to jail, Commissioner Sullivan and I know that can go either way. It can be alcohol or drugs or hallucinogens or whatever, but once they're there in the custody of the sheriff, then the sheriff has to take care of it. So,
true. Well, that's where I had some ideas I had written out on that in reviewing some of this other stuff we're going to talk about, which is appointing, you know, a replacement. So thinking about when you talked about EMS. I thought, you know, an EMT or paramedic that, you know, would be willing to share and sit on this board might be, you know, helpful to give us their real life experience and be on.
would we want somebody from the educational world that's teaching those first responders and stuff? I mean, would that be another angle that we could?
You've got, well, yeah, because you have the instructor, paramedic instructors,
correct.
EMS instructors over there. Teach ACLS and doing all that stuff. So, yeah, and that's what I'm thinking. You know, we need to think outside the box, because those are the people, like you said, who are first hand on.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I like it.
Is that enough?
I like it.
well, you hit on a couple of things all at once. So first is the report from the sheriff. To go down Commissioner Rogers' route, that's gonna be a very skewed report because they're in custody. I think that's gonna be too much of a very, limited scope. I don't know how much it'll give, but it goes all the way back. To run with it and do the research that you want done. As far as appointing, since you kind of dovetailed into that, that's on new business, but, did you ever get clarification? Clarification who appoints?
That needs to go to budget. That has to go to budget this next time. That needs to be on their agenda, along with this other thing, because that has to happen sooner than later, and that will help us get, because
As far as the 50, I'm sorry.
well, it's and you can interrupt too, I don't care, I'm not one of these, so, you can interrupt.
But you were saying, as far as the 50-50 split on the salary and where that's gonna come from?
No, we don't wanna do that, we wanna keep that coordinator,
She's talking about, she's talking about the replacement for judge. Would that come from the budget?
I got you.
yeah, the judge.
Budget has to appoint that person.
Yeah.
We could suggest, but they have to actually appoint.
So, how do you, I mean, we didn't talk last time about having the falling off, like 2-year on, not rotating people. And we had talked about putting it, maybe asking budget to put it on committee, so that, cause trust me, I'm not gonna be here in 18 years. I'll be busy.
Have you thought about asking budget to allow the commissioner to appoint the other members, so basically appoint you guys each year, every other year, then you appoint all the remaining members?
We can.
Like the judge when they.
That would be fine, and that's kind of where I was headed, but you're still gonna need to get the sign off from budget.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
They could
But
do
that's
that.
possible, that we could just.
Basically get the budget committee to approve, or initially, and then put it to committees, or whoever, for 5 commissioners, and then the way the committee works, that they appoint the remaining members up to 3 or how many other committees.
Yeah.
But you guys appoint those and it kind of clears it up a whole lot.
I think that would make it a lot faster.
Faster, yeah.
Well, it removes a third.
Wait for budget meetings and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
I think that's a very good idea. So I would suggest we bring that to budget.
We'll tell them. We'll give her a copy of the minutes and we'll get it on.
Okay. So that was, that, and then, so that brings us to, we already have our appointment of secretary.
So that needs to be removed, I think, from old business. Someone from the clerk's office.
So you don't want the actual coordinator to be the secretary?
I think we discussed last time that they needed to be more involved in the discussion than worried about minute taking.
Okay, because we don't send Jessica, that's what we use the clerk or Jessica.
Oh, it don't matter, yeah.
I don't
know who's emailing back.
Who's Jessica? It was your day.
That, I got asked because y'all needed somebody. and
Right, so
so
you have somebody that is?
I don't care.
It came
I
from
kind of
me.
semi-drafted her, and I'll talk about, do we have the clerk's officer, or was it Jessica?
Either way, it's fine with me.
I nominate Jessica to be the secretary.
Okay. Well, let's make sure. There you go. There's two different things. That's what
Welcome aboard.
I want to point out, we're talking minute taker versus secretary.
That's what I wanted to be
Because
clear
right now,
on,
like budget and finance, I am officially designated by private act as the secretary because I have to review and make sure they're okay. We have a minute taker that actually takes the minutes. So in other words, I go back and review to make sure the content. So I think really you want your coordinator to be the secretary and then we'll just get you a minute person like Jessica. Because you don't want her to approve it, you want the coordinator to approve it.
To approve the minutes, yeah.
So I think you really want to appoint the coordinator.
So the secretary would be the coordinator.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
officially.
do I need to restate that?
Yes, sir.
So I would like to appoint Jessica to be the note taker for this meeting.
Point,
But it's on
and then,
We're going above and beyond.
Right.
so the next motion is to appoint the coordinator as the secretary.
I think we need to coordinate.
Yeah,
the parties
that just,
first.
those E and F just need to roll to old business till you, well, no, I'm sorry, E needs to roll to old business.
Will be combined, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you gotta prove it now, then they'll become viable. If you just put it to the position, then they'll become,
They'll be part of.
like you voted tonight to the position, then they will be up on higher.
Right. Okay, that's what we'll do.
So is that gonna be a motion
Second.
now?
So, I mean, approve. All in favor?
Aye.
Are we
There you go.
getting confused down there? I'm good at that. Review of the job description for the coordinator. There was some changes that we wanted, or we want to go back to some changes that we had suggested that we want to reverse back. Am I correct?
Should we just talk about what's here right now?
Yeah.
Okay, my concern is the coordinator after the first 6 months will not be a full-time position. You have money in the opioid enough to pay for a full-time position, and you have it in the unrestricted, which means it can be used for anything. So what I'm proposing, and I've got the job description in here, is you actually, because you're gonna need somebody to supervise them, because committees do not supervise everything in the private act.
Right.
So what I'm proposing is that we hire a grant accountant that would be under my office. We'll supervise them, and if there's any issues, you let me know, and we'll take care of it. This is the job description, pretty close to what you had, except I added other duties, so in other words, they're not working on this, they're working on the other stuff, but their primary duty will be opioid, and if we run out of, so they can't get the job done, then we'll talk about overtime, and I'll find another staff member to help them, because I don't know the loading may vary significantly, but either way, we'll handle it. And this is the job description. I made very few changes except for other duties and who they answer to. I think Ms. Brown reviewed, I made very few, she may have made a few before that, because I had her review it for those times.
No, I think we were good.
Only thing I think we was changed was the name of the county.
Yeah, no, I think we were all good with the finance director.
I added like 2 or 3 sentences in here for extra duties.
We also, was my understanding too, that we wanted to go back to having someone with a master's degree with,
Correct.
It says bachelor's with master's highly preferred.
I think you guys wanted a bachelor's, so I thought bachelor's with master's highly preferred. The last one I heard had an MBA. So, does that help generally? My thought process, if you approve this and give me enough flexibility, then I'll hire somebody that needs pretty close. I don't know if they'll be exactly finance, 100%.
Sure.
But we'll have to find somebody, and then that brings us to the discussion of the salary. And here's 2 things I want to do, and this is, and Eric, right now, by and large, the county, other than department heads, and I think the county engineer and the staff attorney are given comp time or other time. I want to make this position purely exempt, just like the job description. So now on finance, when I start hiring, because I've got a lot of degreed individuals, my plan in the future is to ask for enough funding to make them all exempt versus overtime that we're exceeding. So when that brings me up to the job discussion, currently a comparable employee that earns comp in the county is about $84,000. So I'd like to ask the committee somewhere between 80 and 95 to allow a variance for me to go out and try to retain somebody somewhere in that market. I think you can probably grab somebody with, and I think we have here 10 years of experience. 10. So I may go get 10, I may have to go down with year of experience. I'm not really sure. The finance job market's not really, there's a lot of extra candidates out there, but
This is honestly a lot less than I anticipated.
5 to 10 years.
I was expecting 6 figures.
easy. And that may be what we come back to. I'm gonna try at 80 to 95, we'll have enough time
For
to come back.
a person with an MBA
Yeah,
in finance?
The existing one we have right now is gonna be on finance. Or we can look at the 80 to 100, I can look at that range.
I think I would, and that would actually make this 5 to 10 years. Not 10 years, it's too limited.
Just give me enough power.
Yeah, flexibility, if somebody's 7 years, then you want to say, well, I'm sorry, you don't have 10.
And give me some flexibility on the type of degree I'm aiming for finance and accounting, but if I find something very close. Historically, we go out and hunt people and you get a lot of candidates, very few that we mark back in that's actually applicable. We have several lately that's not passed their background checks. They're not usually large things, but they're small enough that I wouldn't bring them into the office.
Not making
So, can I review this statement, minimum qualifications to match bachelor's degree, highly preferred and I would suggest in accounting and or finance. So, with at least 5 to 10 years of applicable work experience required.
And the thing's giving enough flexibility to move if we come in. Well, if you go down to 5, I don't think we want anybody less than 5. Because I'm going to be such a curve, I might as well be down here in the committee myself.
So, let's vote on this.
Well, there's two recommendations on the voting here procedurally. One is the amendments, and then two, so that he can move as quick as possible, go ahead and vote to send this out for prospective applicants.
Well, if they just go ahead and change the budget for funding, then I'll go hire the applicant based on that. So I think it's more decision on the budget for requested funding.
They're not gonna have to, that lets you pull the trigger automatically?
Once budget, because I don't want to hire somebody without the funding, once the budget approves it, then I'll go out and as soon as it's that budget, if they approve, we'll actually go ahead and prepare it and pay for it all the other places with the job.
So then the second budget is to move this item to budget?
Right.
Okay.
So the salary is vice versa budget,
What would you set the salary at?
80 to 100,000.
80 to 100 or 85 to 100?
Once it's put 80 to 100, I'll say you're going to run 85 at least.
Okay.
I mean, we maybe end up back to a bachelor's degree from that. We could probably get somebody pretty fresh out of college with a CPA, but I don't think they'll have the experience.
They want to say that you're running into the experience.
And then the same thing, when they get the experience, they're going to move on fairly quickly too.
85, but then knowing that they can turn around and go somewhere else and make a lot more
Well, you
money.
gotta make it.
Then you gotta start all over.
And then you gotta start all over again. That's my fear, is
You gotta give it to
We don't want to be a training ground for them, so
Right.
if they come in and they don't know what, me and my staff's going to pick up and train them, which is going to
Right.
be time issues.
It's not gonna be good.
And then they're going to turn over at the same time, and it's going to be a perpetual cycle.
This is a long-term process. This is a very long time, 18 years with expectations for this to go on, so,
It's a retirement job for somebody.
yeah.
Start.
For long-term employees, and that's what we're going to look for, and try to, for a better word, steal it from someone with a track record. I don't know the 100's going to steal you somebody from a track record, so even at 100, we're going to get somebody with a good track record in front of them.
So that was
Like a long track record. Can't stay for the dollars. We're not.
I don't feel like you're gonna go out there and say like, I'm going to spend this much money, what can I get for it? Like, that's not your.
We're going to look at the candidates to find that you the best one that we think will last.
Okay.
Will that happen? Hopefully. I've interviewed a lot of people, but it's not always.
I just know from working with the resource authority, I'm trying to find a new director, and the competition out there and the people that are working in the business, you're not gonna find somebody like, let's say, under $80,000 skill set and stuff like that. That's just not reasonable, not reasonable.
Not with the level of experience that we're looking for.
Right.
Can you give preference to grant writing and that kind of stuff?
We will when we write the claim. Basically, we're gonna lean toward, they're gonna have to be strong in county, they gotta understand it. But they're gonna be, the main things will be grant writing, grant retaining, and there's another thing I was thinking about. Not necessarily the description, but things that's gonna help you out. If they've had any experience in opioid or even if they work as an accountant, potentially in the drug
Oakfield, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But they want to understand you're an accountant, that's an
Opioid abatement, not the use of.
Well, yeah. That's gonna be too.
Non-consumption.
That's gonna be too niche that we're not gonna probably find that.
So, I don't know if I need to make this in two separate motions. Eric, you may be able to can make a motion to approve the job description with the salary attached of 80 to 120.
And that's for that flexibility, that if I need to make small changes, to get you somebody you don't know the market.
Yeah.
Can I mention one more thing?
Budget.
It's not to do with this person.
Yeah.
The minutes, Jessica's gonna keep the minutes, we pay that through county commission, but we pay her, you usually pay her to keep the minutes during your office, and right now we're like slammed, so my plan is to pay her overtime. if it's okay to ask them to amend enough to pay her overtime out of the Opioid fund.
Yeah.
Beyond restricted, which won't be a large amount.
Okay.
With mass, but we're such land, I never mind.
No, I think we had talked about
Pull
that.
that out of the unrestricted, right?
We can vote.
Yeah.
This
Sorry.
is nice.
No, it's okay.
She said, I do it at the basketball game, I don't care.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, so,
We just do it all.
So this will roll to budget next month, and then you can immediately start hiring, right?
Process, which says if budget approves, then I want to go ahead and advertise it out, because for some reason it didn't make it to commission, still we wouldn't have right things back.
Perfect.
I don't want to make a promise with the money in my hand.
Okay.
Is we'll put it in the paper, we'll interview, and then we'll do background check.
Right.
Usually takes a couple,
Make sure, and we've had people fill
Right,
out.
sometime Thanksgiving and then Christmas,
Very good. We won't, if they fail the background check, they don't,
they don't go no.
even for minor things, we don't.
Yeah, we don't even need to know their name.
so the, next thing is agenda requirements for budget committee. We've already talked about that, we need to send the information to budget. That also brings up, the fact that we're gonna be reporting, sending this to budget, but we really can't do a whole lot until we get this ironed out. I don't think every 2 weeks is reasonable right now, because we have nothing really yet, we can't move on anything until we get our people.
Get our coordinator in place.
Yeah, so I mean, I'd like to at least meet once in November after budget. because I
Let's
wanna-
meet after budget, that way we know if they approved it.
Our meeting really ought to be, after they, try to coordinate so we're, in that way. So I'm making a motion that we move, our next meeting to, give me a date now.
November 30th,
Well, that's right after that.
what's the week after?
Budget is the 13th, is that correct?
Yes, the 13th.
So you could do the 16th if you wanted to.
November 16th. Anything going on there?
I don't have anything that night.
I'm good.
I got a basketball game.
Playing or coaching?
Boys are playing.
Huh?
Boys are playing. I ain't playing. I mean, come on, Danny. I appreciate you, but no. Listen to wheelchair basketball.
We could, we could meet, well, depends on the, yeah, it would, it depends on the resource of the meeting.
We got committees running everywhere.
Oh, the resource authority is right before.
Yep.
Commission,
So,
and sign and stuff, well, we're gonna sign under my grant.
So, what were we?
Are we required to meet in November?
well,
pre-plan.
oh yeah, because we did it every other week or every Monday.
Well, if you got one with that, the resume will bring you the full week back, and then, fully hired, full week.
I fully trust what you're doing.
Yeah.
I think I can speak for all, feel comfortable if you need us to look at resumes, like we're always here, but I don't wanna
I'm
micromanage.
not an accountant and I'm not a finance.
I wouldn't know it, yeah.
I have very good checkbook skills, but I am not in that business.
We want somebody strong in grants, next to county, and able to talk to the community, rather than hiding in the corner and becoming a representative. Well, that's probably running to Sumner County.
Like they're all just hiding in the corner.
Okay. And corner picking up the high end, but
So we
thanks.
need to have a date for our next meeting, so.
So, December 7th, maybe that Thursday?
Before you do that, you're gonna need to have a motion and vote on rescinding the,
I make a motion, we rescind
Prior
previously
Previous every 2 weeks.
previously approved calendar.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so let's move to the new thing, is a motion to move our meeting to December 7th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. At 5.
At 5.
Are you good?
For 5:30, what works best for y'all? I know I work, you work,
Five's good for me.
Five.
Works. Then these usually go quick and can.
As long as there's no traffic between here and Greenway.
All right, we'll move on to new business. Our next discussion is a person to replace Judge Clinton. We talked about this earlier, and I firmly believe that we need, it said, and I was reading through Steve Taft's information, we really ought to have somebody with real life baby experience. The coalition has sent me a name of a guy who's been really active in opioid abatement programs. This guy right here. I didn't call you because I didn't remember yet. So, if I can suspend the rules, I'd like to have him talk.
So moved, yeah.
Go ahead, sir.
Yes. So I am Will Taylor. I am an individual in long-term recovery. What that means to me is, by the grace of God, I hang on to the end of this month. I'll be celebrating 10 years in recovery.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Through that process, I went back and gained a formal education. I have a bachelor's in psychology, clinical counselor by trade, worked in the nonprofit clinical world for about 4 years before I transitioned over and started doing contractor work for the state Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services. Currently now I float around into the contracting world with the state, operating the faith-based initiative and the regional overdose prevention specialist team to help educate and prevent overdoses. Naturally, with my job, I was well aware of this long before many counties got involved, so I went out and did a town hall, really just kind of educating the community first, because honestly, this is disappointing to me that no community members are here. Trying to just bring awareness of what's there. I've said and attended all the state councils, spoke highly, and then been with several counties leading their communities into really just getting the ball going. That way we can get the money out and start hopefully seeing some relief to overdose, as well as just behavioral health as a whole. Any questions y'all have, I'll be glad to answer those.
If I may, where are you working now?
I'm a contractor for the Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services.
Is that there your only contract?
I work with the faith-based initiative and the regional overdose prevention specialist.
Do you see any conflicts of interest with the disbursement of funds and what you do?
Honestly, if anything, what I've seen across the board, I don't necessarily have a conflict. I reside in Sumner County. I'm not going to be going after these funds. Honestly, I just want to give y'all input. If I can speak openly for a second, I kind of found it disheartening that we're looking for a coordinator with a financial background, which is understandable, but I heard in the conversation earlier, we want him open for discussion, but no lived experience there. That's the oranges at the same time, if that makes sense. Typically, what my experience says is someone with that background of accounting and grants typically does not have experience on what really needs to be implemented into really moving the paradigm in what we're facing with the pandemic.
Well, can I speak? I've got 14 years of an adult probation officer experience, sending people to rehab, Buffalo Valley, Centerstone, all the way across the state, Dallas, Texas, Austin, Texas.
Yes, sir.
So I want to reassure you that side of it's not being missed, hopefully, with me being on this committee. But we need somebody, obviously, to manage the millions and millions, could be potentially millions and millions of dollars that's coming through here. And this, just having the insight of what's needed in the public. I think that's the objective of this committee, is to look at the applications and say, okay, now we see the need, we know what's needed, we know how it works, here's what we need to do, and can we do it with the money that we've got sitting there?
Correct.
So I think this committee will report back to the coordinator, and the coordinator will be back to us. It'll be a mutual way. It won't be the dictation of the coordinator, unless I'm terribly misunderstood.
I actually deal with, in mental health, I'm psychiatric, I do psychiatry, and so I deal with a lot of that. So we have a lot of experience here. I mean, every one of us are involved in some way, church, whatever, but he's right, we're coordinating with both, so that we have somebody who will help us control and watch the money, because that's very, very serious. And then we have all of us that say, hey, wait, we really like to reach out to X, Y, Z. So, yeah, that's, but you're right, I wish there were more people here.
The coordinator will just be providing data to the decision makers,
Right.
so her and his experience with the opioid, they won't be giving direct input other than keep up with the funds, provide data, and do research. They won't be giving that type of input appropriate.
So you're, you are here to request to be on the committee?
I actually just come to see y'all's progress. I mean, I never received any notification from you.
No,
Megan did reach out to me and say that she gave you my information.
You did.
So
I
to
didn't
me, I'm
reach
glad that y'all are looking for anybody. I personally just, come to see the progress we're making here.
Your name was sent to me, but because I haven't got it approved, you know, we have to approve all that, so I
Correct,
wasn't
yes.
ready to reach out to you at this whole,
Yes.
in the email, that's why you're not calling.
Yes.
Not the.
So to answer your question, I'm not requesting anything, I'm just here present to see
talk
what's
about
going on.
it. Okay. All right, so he had been, that was a name that was moved forward, and so he has real life experience. He lives in Sumner County.
Could you restate your name, please?
Will Taylor.
Will.
Yes.
And where do you live?
I live at 345 on Highway 25, and that's Castilian Springs.
And I have that email that I got from the coalition with your contact information, and I'll share that with them now.
Perfect, thank you.
So, but anyway, so in looking, we need to request from the budget committee that we do need a replacement, and that, you know, we need to find, they need to approve, that we approve, so.
If, my suggestion, just procedurally, would be to have a name ready so that they can go ahead and put that person in, and then you can also, at that time, get them to say, all right, you have full forward. Otherwise, you're getting the appointment, you're waiting another 30 days, and then we're trying to fill it.
And that's what we had to find.
Okay.
Just directly asking for the approval.
Yeah, let us.
Majority at that point, and they still have a majority vote here, so.
Oh, I see what you're saying, don't even put forth a name.
They give us money, and they can go ahead and send the budget request, because the budget's coming up, and they can go ahead and send the request for authority to appoint non-commissioned members or vacate.
I'm just playing worst case scenario.
So I've got somebody in mind. I don't even have a clue if he would be interested. But he's a helicopter medic, flies all over everywhere, does all kinds of training. I don't mind reaching out to him and seeing if he would be interested.
So he would fill the EMS side of it?
I don't know. I mean, he's an instructor. He teaches the EMS side. Plus, he's a critical care nurse.
Because I actually wanted to add one more besides the citizen, the judgment.
Right.
We talked about adding two, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
One and then the EMS.
So, I mean, it doesn't matter. I can ask him if he's interested and then bring that between now and when we come about, Trent, Portland, Trent Dobbs.
Oh, yeah.
So that would be, the motion would be to request to add an EMS to the committee. Okay, so I need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now that goes to budget. And then now on the person,
His
real life
will be a
experience.
schedule, I guarantee you. He's got a crazy schedule.
I did have I was thinking about in the judge world, and I don't know, Eric may even know this, did the magistrates have anything to do with
Their conflict of interest.
but I don't know if they have anything to do with the recovery court, do they? I know the judges, all the judges.
Other than being a gateway into the court system, no.
So that may be another option too, when you've got magistrates that would be familiar with the court system, but not have a direct conflict of interest because they're not involved in the recovery court.
We need somebody who's actually been in addiction, like he is a recovery
Sure, no, I'm totally.
person.
So, may I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
So for Trent, and then, of course, we, been introduced to Mr. Taylor, and he's expressed some interest, so could I make a motion that we to be on the committee, and that way we have the names for budget if they wanted to go to the committee on the meetings. Otherwise, we can appoint them at next month's meeting or in December and
When we have
move forward.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. So.
Would you like to be on the committee, if possible?
Sure, I'd be glad, yes.
So, yeah, so I made a motion, you made a motion.
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then, Eric, do you have any more information on the bankruptcy filings and impact on the county as far as the funding?
Actually, that's why I've been sending all those detailed emails, so that if you had specific questions, I think that'd be the quickest way to get through it, because I could spend an hour and a half of your time going over that stuff, so I try to get it to you a little bit at a time. If you've got questions on what I've sent in the past, I'd be more than glad to entertain them. But other than that, what I've emailed is everything I would assume so.
Forecasting and things like that?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
And actually, the coordinator would probably be getting with me, because we're still actively engaged in creditor claims in these bankruptcies, so there's a lot of legal stuff still going on too. And it's cost us a pretty penny to get to where we're at, so.
We'll drop it now.
So Darryl, you'll get with your.
Yeah, I'll get with Trent.
And then if he's not available, we can always check the EMS. So, okay, sounds like we got everything on a little bit of a list that we're gonna move forward with to budget, and then our next meeting will be on the 7th of December. And there's one more.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay. Thank you all. You've been a great team today, and appreciate your help.
Tell us when we're all there.
We're out.
I'm gonna nominate you for chairman next year, if Meryl's not gonna do it. That was a 47 minute long meeting.